When your world starts to crumble, what's the first thing you do? Do you panic? Do you fight to hold everything together? Or do you freeze, watching helplessly as the life you built starts to fall apart? If you've ever been there, this video is for you. Because by the end of it, you'll know exactly how the ancient Stoics, men who faced war, betrayal, exile, and loss, managed to stay calm when their entire world was collapsing. And more importantly, you'll know how you can do the same, not by pretending to be emotionless, not by suppressing fear or sadness, but by understanding something far deeper, the kind of strength that doesn't depend on what's happening around you, but on what's happening within you. The Stoic way isn't about escaping pain, it's about transforming it. They believed peace is not found in avoiding life's chaos, but in meeting it with clarity and courage. So stay with me until the end, because we're going to uncover a simple Stoic habit, a way of thinking, that can change how you face every storm that life throws your way. Now, let's begin. Part 1. When the ground shakes beneath you. There comes a moment in every life when the world tilts. The job disappears. The person you trusted walks away. The doctor clears his throat before speaking, and suddenly, everything you thought was steady starts to tremble. It's a strange kind of silence that follows, like the air itself is holding its breath. In that moment, you realize your peace was built on things you never really controlled. The Stoics knew this feeling well. Marcus Aurelius lost children, friends, and a kingdom's trust more than once. Seneca faced exile. Epictetus lived as a slave. Yet somehow, they remained composed, not cold, not numb, but anchored. Their secret wasn't denial. It was discipline of perception. They trained their minds to ask a single question when everything fell apart. Is this within my control? Most of what we call disaster isn't. The storm outside, the words someone threw at you, the unexpected ending. You don't control those. What you do control is what you make of them. The judgment, the story, the choice of whether to meet the storm with panic or with presence. A man once told me after losing his wife, I realized I could either drown in what I lost or live in what remains. That's Stoicism in its purest form, not a denial of pain, but a refusal to let pain decide who you become. So, when the ground shakes beneath you, pause, feel the fear, yes, but don't feed it. Look around at what still stands, your breath, your reason, your capacity to act with dignity. That's where calm begins, not in the absence of chaos, but in remembering you still have a say in how you stand amid it. If this message resonates, stay with me. In the next part, we'll explore how the Stoics trained this kind of composure every single day, and how you can too. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video if you believe more people need calm instead of noise. Part 2. Control and surrender. The Stoic balance. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing how little you control. We grow up thinking effort equals outcome, that love guarantees loyalty, that kindness shields us from betrayal. Then life comes along and quietly breaks those illusions. The Stoics would tell you that breaking is not cruelty, but clarity. Epictetus used to say, some things are in our control, others are not. It sounds simple, but the line between the two determines your peace. When we forget that line, we suffer twice. Once from what happens, and once from wishing it hadn't. Think about the last time you lost sleep over something, someone's opinion, a family argument, a decision already made. You replayed it, rewrote it, argued with it in your head. And yet, not a single moment changed. That's the cost of fighting what's beyond reach. The Stoic approach is not passive, it's selective. You stop wasting energy on what you can't move and redirect it to what you can. Your words, your actions, your attitude, the way you show up. even when the world doesn't cooperate. A man once came to see me after his company went bankrupt. He said, "I've lost everything." I asked him, "Are you sure?" He paused. He still had his health, his mind, his relationships, his ability to rebuild. What he lost was control over how others saw him. That, too, was never his to own. Calm doesn't come from control. It comes from clarity. The moment you separate what's yours from what isn't, you stop chasing ghosts. You stop expecting the world to bend to your plan, and you start working on what's real. Seneca wrote, "No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity." Meaning, we fall apart not because life hits us, but because we believed it never would. So tonight, ask yourself, what am I still trying to control that doesn't belong to me? Someone's behavior? Time? The past? Let it go. The tighter you cling, the more life slips through your hands. Focus instead on your response, the single thing life can never take. That's where calm begins to rebuild. If this reflection speaks to you, leave a comment below. What's one thing you've decided to stop trying to control? And remember to like and subscribe if you want to walk deeper into Stoic calm. Part 3. Emotional Mastery in Crisis. How Stoics Face Pain Without Breaking. When chaos hits, most people rush to escape the feeling. We distract ourselves. We argue. We blame. Anything to not feel that quiet ache behind the ribs. But the Stoics taught something radical. Don't run from pain. Understand it. They believed emotions aren't enemies. They're messengers. Fear tells you what you value. Anger tells you where you feel powerless. Sadness shows you what you cared for deeply. But when you mistake those signals for truth, they rule you. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The reaction, that's where our freedom lives. I once spoke with a woman who'd lost her husband after 40 years of marriage. Her first instinct was to shut the world out. She told me, "If I don't feel, I won't break." But months later, she realized the numbness was its own kind of suffering. So she began walking every morning, talking to him in her thoughts, letting grief breathe without drowning her. Slowly, the waves didn't stop, but she learned how to float. That's emotional mastery. Not to erase pain, but to stay present with it long enough to learn. Seneca compared the wise mind to a soldier in the rain. He doesn't curse the storm, he adjusts his cloak and keeps walking. The storm isn't personal, it's just weather. When everything falls apart, your mind will whisper 1,000 stories. This isn't fair, this shouldn't happen, I can't bear it. But each story is a choice. The Stoic practice is to pause, breathe, and ask, is this helping me endure or making me weaker? Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote these words during war and plague. If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. Not as cruelty, but as liberation. He knew that the mind breaks faster than the body. Pain comes, fear comes. But neither defines you, unless you feed them. When crisis strikes, try this. Don't talk, don't react, just breathe once, twice. Watch the storm without judgment. The space between the event and your response, that's the birthplace of calm. And here's a truth I've learned after many years. Calm is not the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of attention. You can't stop the waves, but you can choose where to stand. If this message found you in a difficult season, let me know in the comments what emotion you're learning to master. And if you want more Stoic wisdom to rebuild inner peace, make sure to subscribe. Part 4. The Art of Perspective. Seeing like Marcus Aurelius. When you're in the middle of chaos, everything feels enormous. Every loss, every failure, every harsh word, it all towers over you like a mountain. But Marcus Aurelius had a habit that made him one of the calmest minds in history. He learned to step back. He would remind himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Perspective is the Stoic art of zooming out, of refusing to see life only through the narrow lens of pain. Imagine flying above the storm. From up there, you still see the clouds, but you also see that they're moving, passing, temporary. I once met a man who lost his business after 30 years. For months, he called it the end of everything. When we spoke, I asked him to tell me what this moment might look like 5 years from now. He went quiet. Eventually, he said, "Maybe I'll see it as the moment I started again." That pause, that shift, is perspective. Marcus would write to himself at night, listing everything he'd lost and then asking, "Will this matter in 10 years? In 100? Most of it, he realized, would dissolve into dust. Even Rome, the empire he ruled, would one day fade. The Stoics didn't use this truth to feel hopeless. They used it to feel free. If everything passes, then so will this. When you can hold that view, pain becomes lighter. You stop fighting for control and start watching with calm curiosity. The event that once crushed you becomes just another chapter, not the whole story. Seneca said, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." Our minds can turn small worries into endless storms. Perspective pulls us back to sanity. Here's a practice. When something disturbs you, say to yourself, "This feels big, but is it truly permanent?" Step back, breathe, picture the earth spinning, billions of lives unfolding. You'll find that even your heaviest moment is part of a larger rhythm.
And strangely, that thought doesn't make your pain meaningless. It makes it sacred, because you see it as one thread in a greater design. Marcus once walked through the palace gardens at dawn and whispered, "Everything changes. The universe loves to renew itself." That's perspective, not denial, but trust in the flow of things. So when your world feels small, expand your view. When everything feels dark, step back and notice. Light is still there, just beyond your focus. If this part helped you see your struggle differently, let me know in the comments. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss part 5, where we'll turn this perspective into strength and learn how Stoics transformed pain into power. Part 5, Turning Pain into Strength, the Stoic practice of transformation. Pain has two paths. One destroys you, the other remakes you. The Stoics chose the second, again and again. They didn't see pain as punishment, but as a forge. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show what men are." He meant that pain reveals the truth of your character, not the end of it. When everything collapses, what's left is who you really are. I remember a man I once spoke with, a father who lost his son in an accident. He said for a long time, every morning felt like a curse. But one day, instead of asking, "Why me?" he began asking, "What now?" He started volunteering at a center for grieving parents. His pain didn't vanish. It changed shape. It became a bridge. That's the Stoic way. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold. Adversity tests brave men. Pain tests your patience, your discipline, your compassion. It shows whether your peace was built on comfort or on principle. If you can't avoid suffering, you can give it purpose." The Stoics trained for this. They practiced what they called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Each morning they imagined things going wrong, loss, illness, betrayal. Not to live in fear, but to prepare their minds. So when pain came, it didn't find them weak. It found them ready. You can do the same. Picture the difficulty you fear most. Then imagine yourself meeting it with calm, with dignity. You'll notice something inside you already knows how to endure. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way."
The obstacle is not the end. It's the lesson, the practice, the refining fire. If you've been broken, you've already begun the transformation. The cracks aren't your shame. They're the marks of pressure that shaped something new. Every scar is a record of endurance. And maybe that's what calm really is. Not a perfect stillness, but a quiet kind of strength that whispers, I can bear this, and I will rise from it. So the next time pain arrives, don't rush to escape it. Ask it what it came to teach you. Because when everything falls apart, that's when the Stoic inside you is born. If you found meaning in your pain, share your story in the comments. It may help someone else find theirs. And subscribe to stay with me for part 6, where we'll learn how to build calm as a daily discipline, not just a reaction to crisis. Part 6. Calm as a daily discipline. Living the Stoic way every day. By now, you've seen that calm isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build. Brick by brick. Day by day. When life tests you, it's too late to start training. The Stoics understood this. That's why they practiced calm the way a soldier practices with his sword, every single morning, even in peace. Marcus Aurelius began his days with reflection. Before dawn, he would write to himself, Today I will meet people who are ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, jealous. It wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. He was reminding himself that the world will behave as the world does, but his peace will depend only on him. That's where discipline meets serenity. I tell my patients and students the same thing. Don't wait for life to calm down before you find peace. The world will never be still. You have to build your calm inside the motion. Here's a simple Stoic routine you can try. Each morning, take 1 minute before checking your phone, before speaking, before planning. Just breathe and remind yourself, I control my thoughts, my choices, my response. That's your anchor. Then, throughout the day, notice when you start to tighten. Anger, worry, irritation. Don't judge it. Just breathe again and say, return to calm. It's a muscle. It strengthens with use. At night, the Stoics had another habit, evening review. Seneca called it conversation with the soul. Before sleep, he would ask, what did I do well today? Where did I lose my temper? Where could I improve tomorrow? No guilt, just awareness. The point wasn't to be perfect, it was to live deliberately. Over time, this daily rhythm rewires you. You stop being thrown by every disturbance. You become steady, not because life is easy, but because you are clear. Calm isn't about silence. It's about direction. It's choosing not to waste your mind on what's already decided, not to trade peace for control, not to let someone else's chaos rent space in your head. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. That's what daily Stoic calm gives you, freedom. So when the next storm hits, and it will, remember, calm isn't found in waiting for the winds to stop. It's found in learning to stand firm while they blow. That's the Stoic way, simple, quiet, resilient. If this series has helped you rediscover your inner calm, leave a comment below and share what practice you'll start today. And if you'd like to keep walking this path together, like, subscribe, and join me next time as we explore the Stoic way to rebuild after loss. Because peace isn't a place you reach once, it's a discipline you live every day. If you've stayed until this moment, it means you've already taken the first step toward calm, awareness. You've stopped running from the storm and started observing it. That alone changes everything. The Stoics never promised a life without pain. They promised something stronger, that peace is still possible inside the pain. That dignity, patience, and clarity can survive even when everything else falls apart. Marcus Aurelius lost almost everything. His children, his friends, his health, and still wrote, no man is happier than he who accepts what comes with a grateful heart. He didn't write that from comfort. He wrote it from chaos. So if you're standing in the ruins of something, a relationship, a dream, a life that once made sense. Remember, this is not the end. This is the forge. Every test is shaping you into something quieter, wiser, freer. When the world shakes, don't try to stop it. Steady your breath. Guard your mind. Let the noise pass through without letting it enter you. And then, begin again. Because the Stoic way isn't about never falling. It's about always rising with calm, with clarity, with grace. If these words reached you, take a moment to share this video with someone who might need it tonight. Leave a comment. Tell me how you practice calm when life gets heavy. And subscribe, because our next journey will go even deeper into the Stoic art of rebuilding yourself when everything is gone. Until then, stay steady, stay free,